All right, we are back with another exciting episode with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Browning. We are going to build more better lives. Is that even proper English, building more better lives?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on where you put the comma, I think.
maybe, maybe it is. So that guy over there, that is John Browning. My name is Doug Sandler. You've let me host this thing for months now, and
Yeah.
I think your audience is waiting for you to take over the hosting position and just have me be like the color commentary here. What the heck is it? What is with the let's see. If today I'm Johnny Carson and you're Ed McMahon, it should be the other way around. I should be Ed
Yeah.
McMahon and you should be Johnny Carson.
All right, all right. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Yeah.
All right. I
I
know,
do
I
that
know,
when I have a guest podcast, right? So
I know. And I've heard the couple of episodes that you've done where you've had guests and John, you're a good host. You ask important questions. You let the guest talk. You don't do any of those things that I do when I have guests. I talk over top of them. I do all the things that you shouldn't do as a host of a show. Your audience is just saying, get that Sandler guy out of the hosting spot and just let him be the producer of the show. Let's do it, John. It's time. It's time.
right.
All right. So, in all seriousness, though, we are here to talk about some important things today. You actually gave me like these amazing topics that we're going to chat about, and I don't even know which one we want to start with. So, where are we going to go today? Because of all of the line items of text you sent to me, I'm not sure which is the most priority on your schedule. Where are we heading?
I don't know. I think they're all good topics. They're all questions that I get asked. So let's talk about Social Security because there's so many misconceptions about that. And by the way, I have an 8 retirement misconceptions white paper that I
Oh,
send people. I will send it to you if you ask for it. Just go to guardianrockwealth.com, contact us section, say, hey, I'd like to get your 8 retirement misconceptions paper. And I'm happy to send it to folks. But Social Security is only one of many things that tend to have a lot of misconceptions surrounding them.
you started the show exactly as a podcast host should. You started it with a call to action. If you want to get a copy of those things, those what are they? What's it called again? Eight. What's the name of
Eight,
the white paper?
the 8 common misconceptions of retirement.
All right, just go to guardianrockwealth.com. Is that right?
Yep.
All right, that's all you got to do. Is there a spot on that website where they go that's easy for them to see where to get those points?
Right now, just write to us in the contact us section and
Got
we'll
it.
get back to you. But we are gonna put something up there that's just like a click here and get this, and it'll make it even easier.
You'll know you're in business when that is truly happening.
I
What
know.
interesting point. I got a let's see, let me think about what. Yeah, it was an email. I got an email from Social Security Administration that said, hey, do you want to check your current Social Security credits and all of that for retirement? Because at 58 or 59, it's getting a little closer right now than it's ever been for me. And then they send you, do you want to retire when you're 65, 67, 70? And then of course it's like then the decisions have to be made for all that stuff. But let's talk about that because my mom, who is 90 years old, is on Social Security right now. And because I don't see the statements that she gets them mailed to her house or electronically, I don't know how she sees them. Is Social Security taxed? And then is there other deductions that come off of the Social Security top line? Like, talk about that. I'm really interested.
Yeah, so most people think that the Social Security check just comes every single month, which is, it can be true. But if you've ever thought about it, if you've ever gone to the ssa.gov and you've signed in and you've put all your information in and gotten what you are likely to get when you enter into Social Security at whatever age, you'll realize that it's not a whole lot to live on, right? So what
It's kind
people,
of like an annuity. It's a little
it
bit of
is,
an annuity,
you
just
know
enough to
what?
cut little bump, little bump.
That is exactly what I tell people. Social Security is not likely to go away. I know everybody is afraid of that. And the fear mongers out there will send you notes and emails that say, oh, your Social Security is not going to be there for you. I highly doubt that that will be the case. I think it'll be there, but it's not going to be enough to live on. It'll cover some of your experience expenses. And I tell people that consider that your somewhat risk-free annuity
Mm-hmm.
payment from the
Mm-hmm.
government that you've paid into for years. But there are ways some people are going to get more than others. And first of all, you've got to, in order to get your full Social Security, you've got to work for 40 quarters, which a lot of people have, but a lot of people haven't. You think of those moms and dads who have opted to stay home and take care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They may have trouble getting to those 40 quarters, so they might not get their full Social Security. Doesn't mean they won't get any.
Got all my credits. I got all my credits. I'm raising my hand. I'm one of the
That's
I'm one of the few of the proud that has the credits.
that's right. Or another common one is the entrepreneur that never wants to W-2 themselves. They all want to take a draw because it's less taxes, never really thinking about, have I got enough quarters paid into Social Security to get that risk-free income in retirement? And there's a whole strategy around how much you W-2 yourself. Those of you, okay, there might be some people who don't understand that, right? So
I'm one of those people that understands it enough to know that I have been paying myself, even though self-employed for 30 plus years, I've been paying myself the amount of salary that I need to in order to substantiate the position that I have within my company. So yes, I have been W-2ing myself.
yes, so there's regular tax reasons why you might want to W-2 yourself. So in other words, pay yourself a regular paycheck that you would get if you worked anywhere. And there's also that Social Security reason, so that you have your 40 quarters and there's an amount in there. Talk to your CPA or your financial advisor about what amount you should W-2 yourself or maybe your spouse. And
Mm-hmm.
in some cases, employing your kids can really be beneficial to them later on for a multitude of reasons, including starting early on, getting your 40 quarters in.
All right, so
So
take me for just a second, because I did get that statement from Social Security. I did check it out. I clicked the link. I followed it to SSA and understood a little bit closer about the amount of money based upon the age of retirement. But that number that they're giving me, is that pre-taxed? Is Social Security taxed? What's the answer to that question? That mystery question.
I keep not answering that question, right? So
Come on, John. Teaser.
so so my point was, right, it's not really enough to live on. So you're going to have other income, most likely, or you're going to wish you had other income at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
Right? So when that happens, depending on the type of income it's very easy to go over income limits, and your Social Security tax is taxed uh, up to 50%. If you're single, 25,000 coming in income. If you're married, filing jointly, it's 32,000. Well, 32,000 plus your Social Security of maybe, whatever it is, depending on your situation, might be 1,500, might be 2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's still not a lot if you're living in, say, South Florida, maybe California.
California. That's otherwise known as one trip to the gas station a month.
Yeah, exactly. So you're probably going to have some income coming in. Is that the type of income that's going to count towards your Social Security being taxed? And it's up to 50% at that level, but then it goes up to, it's possible to be taxed then pretty easy if your lifestyle is, California, and it's not even a lifestyle, right? It's just things are more expensive
Necessities.
in
Yeah.
California and South Florida. They just are. And New York City and places like that. So it's highly possible you could get taxed on 85% of your Social Security. So suddenly, oh, I thought I was getting $2,500 a month, but it's $2,500 a month less whatever your tax bracket is. And people are like, oh, that's not as much cash flow. Remember, I say cash is not king, cash flow is king. It's not as much cash flow as I thought.
All right. So help me for a second to determine what is viable income that can be taxed. Are we talking about everything from investment interest that we are now bringing down from, let's say, a 401k, that we're now starting to take out a little bit of that money? That is, if it exceeds the amount of income that is at your ceiling, you start to get taxed. If you need $20,000 to be pulled out of, or $30,000 to be pulled out of your 401k a year, does that mean that you're going to get taxed on $5,000 of that 401k if it exceeds that income limit?
So that's a really great question, because there's another thing.
Mm.
It's your 401k, unless it is a Roth 401k, which if you're our age, those didn't exist. Now, if you're a little bit younger, you might have a Roth 401k, but if it's not, you're going to be taxed on everything coming out of that 401k. If you have a regular IRA and not a Roth IRA, which we've talked about in previous episodes, but then if it's a regular IRA, those distributions are taxed. So that's a whole nother topic, and it's a math problem, right? Some people have all this money and they've done a great job, right? They've done the traditional wisdom, max out your 401k, take your employer match. But if you do this is a 4-letter word, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. You do the math.
Okay.
The 4-letter word called math, and do that formula, it may very well be more advisable to pare back on your 401k contributions and put those into a Roth IRA. Or many people think that you can't touch your 401k without that penalty. There are ways, and there's a tax code, I believe it's T72, that allows you, if you do it correctly, and again, you want to check your math before you do this, but using IRS code T72, you can take equal distributions before that 59.5 age bracket and not take a penalty, and take that, and then you roll that. You have to pay taxes. You always have to pay taxes, anything coming out of a 401k. But would you rather pay taxes now rather than later on in retirement, where there's this other myth that you're going to be probably in a lower tax bracket during retirement? Not always. Matter of fact, often it's not even the majority of the time is that actually true. Add to that, since we are now, believe it or not, in a lower tax bracket, the taxes are lower by comparison than most times in US history. So we all complain about how high our taxes are. And I know you do in California, and it's true. Your taxes in California are insane.
Thank you.
But just talking about federal taxes, they're actually at a fairly low rate. And thanks to President Reagan and that Congress and Senate at the time, those were only temporary tax cuts that President Reagan put into place. Most people really aren't thinking about that. But in 2026, all Congress, the Senate, and whoever's in the presidential seat, all they have to do is nothing. And your tax rates are going to increase in 2026.
So to answer the question, is Social Security taxed? The bottom line is it depends.
It depends, but it's probable that it will be on some level.
All right. So those of you that are in our community that are listening to this or watching this, and you still have that deer in the headlights look, John, I can see a bunch of people out there that still have that deer in the headlights look.
I see him too. Yeah.
All right. What would be the best approach for them to take to find out the answers to the questions as it relates to them specifically? How do they get in touch with you or somebody on your team? How do they do that?
You can reach out to me. First of all, text the word life to 321-421-5213. That'll bring up, it'll send you a link over your text. I don't inundate you with a bunch of texts after that. I might send you a, hey, thanks for signing up and thanks for getting my card. But it'll send you a link, and it'll have all the different links to my YouTube channel where you get this, as well as some other things that we put out there, to my website, to the book, Build a Life, Not a Portfolio, and a little spot down at the lower right-hand side to schedule some time with me. And that will actually be with me. That will not be with a member of my team. Right now, I'm able to handle all those calls, although you might have to schedule it out a little bit. because I like to talk with you directly. I like to have that relationship. And I'm happy to talk with anybody, no matter where they are in their financial journey, because that's kind of why I left Big Wall Street. They wouldn't let me talk to everybody. I like to talk to everybody.
And if you play your cards right, there's a small checkbox. You'll see it on the screen when you go. Just check it off. You'll actually get a donut and coffee when you meet with John. Also, hey John, thanks for sharing. I know we may have created more questions than answered them, but that is okay. That is what we're here for. We'll be back again next week to do the same. And if you need more information from John, he just told you all the information about how to get in touch with him, including his coworkers over at Guardian Rock Wealth. We'll see you again next week. John, thanks for being here.
All right. We'll see you next week.